welcome to this video update from Shores of Grace Ministries. I'm Nick Billman, and I wanted to share with you today our vision and our purpose and really the heart of Shores of Grace Ministries. Shores of Grace is a missionary ministry to Brazil, and although we're involved in many different things in the United States like worship ministry and speaking and all that stuff, really the heart of our ministry and our focus is in the nation of Brazil. And we have what we call 3 rings of focus that I'd like to share with you today. But before that, I just want to give you some background information. In 2008, I went on a trip to Brazil with Global Awakening and Randy Clark. And while I was there, God just broke my heart open for that nation and just put that nation permanently in my heart and gave me a heart for the people there and for the churches there and some other things that I'm going to share with you here in a little bit. And while I was there, He also put that same call on the heart of my wife and several other people who are involved in our ministry and a part of our ministry. And so we decided to lay our lives down and go to Brazil and just serve the Lord however He calls us to there. And He began to develop more of a vision and a purpose to our ministry in Brazil after that time. And so I want to share those things with you today. Our 3 rings of focus at Shores of Grace is freeing the captives, loving the unloved, and equipping the bride. And the first ring of focus, freeing the captives, really has to do with the prostitutes and transvestites on the streets of Brazil. When I was there on my first trip, God just broke my heart to see all of the prostitutes on the streets, and I saw them as His daughters and His princesses, not knowing who they are and who their father is, what their destiny is in Him. And God just began to give me such a heart for those young men and women that are on the streets prostituting themselves because they don't know that they're loved by Papa God. And so the first ring of focus for us is freeing the captives and setting the prostitutes free. And the way that we're going to do that is we're going to have a building that really will act like a coffee house for prostitutes and street workers late at night from 10 o'clock until 3 o'clock in the morning. And it'll be a place where they can come in and not get the gospel shoved down their throats, but to receive the gospel from us, that will be the gospel to them, will be the love of God to them, that will be the love that they need, and show them a relationship with the Father through relationship building. So that'll really be the point of first contact. And then from there we have a dream, and I know that God will provide it, because when God gives you a dream, He provides. To have a center somewhere off in the country, out in the middle of nowhere, where girls that say, I want to get off the streets and out of this industry, can go and be restored and be taken to a place where for however long they need, they can be set free, they can be delivered, and they can be restored as a daughter to the King. They can realize their destiny and help them discover their identity and their purpose. And at the same time, focus on practical things like making jewelry and clothing and things that'll help bring an income in for them, because we believe that really you can't just set them on the path spiritually, you have to help them practically as well. So the first ring of focus is freeing the captives. The second ring of focus is loving the unloved. And for us, this is really ministry in the favelas. You know, Brazil is a great nation. It's the 5th largest GDP in the world, and yet 1/3 of their country is in abject poverty. And it really struck me the first time that I was there, driving through the cities, how we'd be in this nice location with nice buildings and hotels and stores, and then minutes later you would be in the poorest of the poor, some of the poorest areas that I've seen in my travels around the world. And so our desire is to go in and bring the gospel through simple things. You know, in Matthew 25, Jesus identified Himself as the least of these. He said, when I was hungry, you fed me. When I was thirsty, you gave me drink. When I was naked, you clothed me. And so our desire really is to go in and feed the hungry, clothe the naked, give drink to the thirsty, simple things like medical supplies and helping repair homes. And through that, build relationships with these people to show them the love of God and the love of the Father, not just in word, but in action. And the third ring of focus for Shores of Grace is to equip the bride. And we're going to do that through a school that we're going to start through Global Awakening and Randy Clark's leadership, which will be called the Global School of Ministry in Brazil. And this will be a place where we can train and equip and raise up and release Brazilians to see not just their cities and their nation transformed, but the nations transformed. You know, it's been prophesied for a long time that Brazil is a missionary nation, and we already see that as Brazilians go to Mozambique and Thailand and all over the world. But we really believe in the next 10 years that's going to increase even more. And this is going to be a way that we can help and be a part of that by training and equipping Brazilians and releasing them in ministry to transform the nation of Brazil and to transform the nations. So the 3 rings of focus for Shores of Grace Ministries is freeing the captives, loving the unloved, and equipping the bride. And I want to share with you that you can partner with us in that purpose. I believe that there's some of you that have been watching this video and God's put it in your heart and you've said, I want to be a part of what they're doing. Man, how can I get involved? And there's several different ways that you can do that. You can partner with us financially, you can partner with us prayerfully, you can partner with us by coming and visiting and actually being a part of the groundwork in Brazil. There's a number of ways that you can do that. But I want to call you to pray and seek the Lord and ask, how can I partner in the purposes of Shores of Grace Ministries? So you can go to www.shoresofgrace.com and find out how you can be a part of freeing the captives, loving the unloved, and equipping the bride. I pray that God would bless you as you continue in the work of the kingdom.
To show us how to love.